Red FM presents Rehearsal Pad Diaries with RJ Baio.
Hey guys, RJ Baio here, and I'm gonna take you guys somewhere. I'm not gonna tell you where or why or how even. So let's just follow me and we'll find out together, shall we? We are here in a very special place because, wait a minute, hear that? Let's check it out, shall we? Super Hits 93.5 Red FM, it's rocking with me here, RJ Baio, and welcome to a brand new show which we'd like to call The U-Turn, and welcome to the first episode of Rehearsal Pad Diaries, where we visit the prominent musicians of Shillong, give them a visit during their practice sessions. Well, today we have a very special guest band with us here today. Summersalt, everyone, thank you so much for joining us today, for making yourselves free for this time. Your name, Summersalt, alright. So, who came up with the name and why Summersalt?
So Summersalt, I'm actually not a founding member of this band, but I know why this name came about. It's also a very biblical idea. Salt is a very important ingredient, obviously. I mean, you can't really live without it, and also you can't give too much of it, and there can't be too less or too much of anything, right? So that's the kind of balance that you hear in the music as well. What we've been trying to do since the foundation years till now is to write music that has both these facets, right, of folk fusion music.
I would like to congratulate you. I mean, first of all, before we talk about Summersalt, and yay! So we've got a new RJ. Summersalt, it need not have any meaning, if you know what I mean. It's full of green, and we come from Shillong, so it's a raining season, rain on a tin roof, and so that's summer. The fact that we are a small state like Meghalaya, the fact that we represent the Khasi people, which is and a small social element in the country like India. So all of those things, Summersalt and salt is something which we would like to believe that it has a very, very unique place in the dish, as therefore we as the community, we would like to believe that we have that unique place as well.
According to you guys, alright, I'm sure everyone have your own favorite song from the album, the previous album, right? So according to you guys, what is the best song that you have played?
I think that would have, for me, I think it's Pertashnong Khasi.
I would like to say Let Us Be Awake because I wrote it. I would go with Once and For All. It has that technicality in it, and I feel that as a drummer myself, I could really express a lot of things there.
My favorite is definitely Kamai Kahak, I think, for various reasons. For a very selfish reason, it's because I connected with that song. Like when I first came into the band, I think the first show we ever played that song was on the set list, and we only played like 4 songs on that show. When we played live with the bigger setup, it's just something else. And it's always been a song that has been uplifting. I mean, if you think about Pertashnong, it's a song where that's the climax, right? Like that's where you finish the whole set and stuff like that. But Kamaya Kahak always comes at a point in a set, or even in the album. If you listen to the album, like it comes at a time where you've sort of settled down and listened to these number of songs, and you hit that one song and it makes you think, and it puts you in a place of introspection, and
I think I would go with Greg. I like the Kamai Kahak and the lyrics and even the music also.
Yeah, for me also I like Pertashnong. Before, when I'm not with Summersalt, so I thought myself, when will I will get a chance to play with Summersalt for that song. Yeah, one day I'm in Delhi, and then Summersalt also is in Delhi. So Bucket approached me to play for. He saw me wearing Khasi costume, so he approached me on that. Yeah, I got a chance on that day.
I'm a typical diplomatic artist, so I will not say which song. And precisely since I wrote all the song, all of this, and I will tell you, there is a sentiment attached to each of the songs that I wrote, and these songs are your, are like your children. So you can't say that, okay, I love that better than the other person, or I love this song better than the other song. Sometimes I like the songs that people don't like, or rather they are not that popular, they are not really up there. Those songs connected me, or rather the lines of the song would connect with me,
Well, let us take a short break and see one of their performances right now as they get back to jamming, and we'll be right back. Wow, man, that was such a beautiful performance by Summersalt here. I heard from a little birdie, alright, that you guys are supposedly working on a second album, and Yash Raj Studios. Is it true? Are you guys working on a second album?
Yes, we are.
Let's talk about the experience you had in Yash Raj Studios. The first album, of course, you recorded it here in Shillong itself, and the second album you recorded it all the way over there. How was the experience? What was the difference in experience from recording here in Shillong, the local scene here in Shillong, and there?
Recording there was, obviously, Yash Raj is it's well equipped. It's got a Neve board. You've got all kinds of amps and compressors and rack effects and everything. Great rooms. Everything is.
How huge are the rooms?
The main room is I would say, it's as big as a cathedral. Half of a cathedral, sort of. Yeah. And then you've got these small little booths, right? And the booths are as big as studios in Shillong. We recorded our first album also in various studios here. Babari studio basement, we recorded some of the drums there. And we worked a lot in different studios, and especially with Ribor. Merliham Arrangements, that's the studio where we did most of the work for the first album. So yeah, so everything's been going great from then, and then but then it's a huge step from there. Obviously, going to Yash Raj was something we've always wanted to do, because we went there in 2015 when we recorded for Rock On, and Rock On 2, right? Thanks, yeah, so Rock On 2 was something for us also. It was sort of a springboard for us that really pushed the band forward, and we found a lot of confidence and a lot of drive to sort of do more, and we always wanted to go back there and record our second album. That was always the plan, and I think we knew that from the time we stepped into that studio in 2015, and I think we started working on some of the songs in this album around that 2018-17 part, and then we started writing all of the songs, and with shows coming in, we were writing and playing these songs, sort of like just test driving them, right? Like if they would work with crowds or not. And once we had a good amount of them, we then had to obviously start thinking about money, because let's face it, that's if you want to make an album in a studio like that, you would have to have a really, really good budget. Going there, planning everything, and I would like to shout out to Ashish Saha, who's been of great help to us, especially with planning that part of the whole logistical thing about the album recording and where we were staying and stuff like that. And also a lot of people who were helping us not only in Bombay but before that too as well. There's a lot of people. And recording there, I think when you go technically into it, it was not something that we had experienced before, obviously, because recording for Rock On was different, because we went there with songs that we had already, we knew what Pratashnong was about. It was a previously recorded song before we went there, so it was different. But this time we went there with sort of an open mind also with the songs. I mean, some of them were set in stone, it's gonna be like that. But there was some songs that were still open for us to go there and work in that studio, and stuff were changing, and so it was a really good experience. Obviously, all the gear that was there was it's crazy. Mics were crazy, everything was crazy. And also I think we should not forget Shantanu, Abhishek and Mansi. These guys staff in Yash Raj Studios, and they helped us a lot, especially Shantanu. I mean, he then mixed the songs after. So throughout these past few months this year, we've been in contact, like back and forth with the mixes and stuff like that.
How long exactly did it take you to record the album?
Very interesting question, because it did not take us long, but it was a well-planned process. And so what happened was, because it was very expensive, so we had to plan it that we do this in 10 days. Was it 9 days? Actually 9 days. So there was a lot of pressure, okay? And there were 7 of us, and Na was around because we lost our basis last year, and I still remember, as we talk about him, he's among the 7 of us, I think he's the only one, and Suk also would remind us of this fact, that he did it so well that every song that he did, it was a single take for him. So, I mean, whenever we had rehearsals, all of us would make mistakes, and he would make more mistakes. But when he actually went to the studio and did this, it's like it was perfect, So yes, the pressure was mounting, and we did so many songs, and we reached the second last song. And then we had to produce something still brilliant, So what we did was, we know that we were running out of energy. I mean, it was a very sensitive situation, because how do we critique each other? How do we, we were tired physically, we were tired mentally. So at some point, we huddled up, and then I started speaking to the band. And before I did that, I went to Shantanu and said to him that, hey, we are in the situation now, so just to prep ourselves mentally, so that we make it to the last day, right? We have to finish this. So what we did was, we huddled up, and then let us be aware of our mental state, and let us be aware of our physical state. Okay, so that was a point of learning, I think, but because we got to be there for each other, it was really tough at that point. Okay, so but when after the conversation, it was like a 2-minute, 3-minute conversation, and we called upon each other to sort of professionally respect each other. If there are mistakes, then we have to be sensitive to each other, mentally, and so I think that worked. And after that meeting, we went to record probably the toughest song, right? We thought that we're not going to do this, or rather we would do this in 8 hours time. In fact, we did that song, which is Acid Out, in less than 2 hours. So I mean, we were really tired. Okay, so this is where we learn that being a musician, not just talent, but you also have to use your your awareness of your mental strength and your psychology and everything in it. So that was quite a learning that we experience. I think I am personally honored to be playing music and writing music and arranging music with each one of them. To that extent, I think we are like one body. So since you talk about the album, I'm very excited. I think all of us are very excited.
Well, moving on to the next question. This is going to be a little more fun. All right. So if you guys weren't into music, let's just imagine like in a parallel universe where you guys are not musicians and there is no Summersalt. What do you think you'd be doing right now?
I can imagine myself being an actor actually. I mean, that's my imagination. But I don't know. But if music had not been in my veins, then I think that might just have been my profession, maybe.
Well, if there was no Summersalt, I would still be teaching anyways. I am a teacher, so I'll be teaching and maybe, sing occasionally somewhere if people still remember me. So
if there was no Summersalt, I think it would have been another band that we would have started, and we would still, the same group. So it's just maybe we would call that band, I don't know, an accidental Summersalt or whatever you want to say. But I think I can't imagine a life without Summersalt now that we are here. So
I would probably be into sports. I think I'd be a footballer or something.
Really?
I think so. I mean, now when you look at me, I'm not. I don't look like a sportsman at all.
For me, I love food, and I love to eat. So I think, yes, chef. Yes, I will become a chef, I think. Yes.
If I'm not a musician in Summersalt, I would be like what Greg said, sports person, but athletes.
Very, very interesting answers, some of which were very unexpected. But Adore, you and I have some recipes to share with each other. I make a mean pizza and barbecue, bro. So, sometime maybe soon. All right, thank you so much for joining us. We'll be back again after another performance by Summersalt, only on Super Hits 93.5 Red FM. It's rocking.
Lano ka berkah
Well, we are back and we are coming to another part of the interview that we have, and which we like to call Red Rapid Fire. It's a series of questions that you're gonna have to answer really quickly, and you're not gonna answer them with your words. You're just gonna point at the person that you think would most rightly fit the questions. All right. So, who do you think, according to you guys, is the funniest member of the band? Is he now? Well, they do say that people who love to eat are the most interesting people in the world. So, all right. Another question: who is most likely to forget the sequence of a song during practice or during a show?
Somehow.
What did I say? Interesting, right? All right. Next question: who do you think is the best dresser in the band? All right. Okay. All right.
What happens if this?
Who eats the most in the band? You saw that coming. All right. For the last question, all right. If you were to play a song abroad, who do you think would be the person who would forget his or her passport?
Not me.
Bahadur is like the victim of the interview right here of the Red Rapid questions. Thank you guys for joining us here on Rehearsal Pad Diaries. It's the very first episode, and just some more to come. And these guys are just doing such a great job. Thank you so much for joining us, and please keep on making awesome music. Super Hits 93.5 Red FM.
It's rocking.